Greetings, friends. It's your friendly neighborhood PhD, Dr. Judd Burton, bringing you another episode of the Beyond Report on this December the 15th, 2020. Um, I wanted to start off by saying that I was looking at my metrics for the channel the other day, and the word is in. It seems like you guys really like Antiquity X. Or maybe you like Quick Classics better. Maybe you really want me to bring Sunday School X back, and I've really been meaning to do some more of those pictorial videos that you guys seem to like. But Antiquity X has gotten the most views in the brief lifetime of the channel, and if you guys want me to do more Antiquity X shows, I'll do that. I'll do my best to make that a weekly occurrence. And I'm also going to go back and look at the comments and in those videos because I remember that there were some requests to do certain pet topics. So if you guys have requests, let's just say this. A, what is your favorite show on my channel? Do you like Antiquity X better? Is it Quick Classics? Do you like it all? Let me know. And secondly, um, are there topics that you want me to cover on Antiquity X? You know, I've got ideas of my own. I've got stacks and stacks of ideas of my own. But if you guys have ideas too, I'd love to hear them. As I said the other day, this is an us proposition, you know. Uh, so, um, in other news, keep in mind that there's some pretty juicy sales in the bookstore um, this week. I've got a 15% off, and I'll put a link in the description for that. So if you're scampering to get last minute Christmas gifts or what have you, all the originals, Interview with the Giant, Nephilim Dossier, Peneus, the Shepherd Sling, and all the edited volumes like The Religion of Numa and Smaller History of Greece, Lives of the Necromancers, etc., etc. All those are off 15% as well. Again, I thank you for your support of the channel and Burton Beyond and the Institute of Biblical Anthropology under those auspices. In other news, an article that caught my eye largely because, well, it was an ancient Egypt find, but it had only been a few weeks since I had watched the Saqqara, very excellent documentary on Saqqara that Netflix had put out, which I encourage you to go watch. It's a really interesting look at not only the find of this necropolis, but also it's the story of the archaeologist from the primary investigator all the way down to people that are doing the heavy lifting. In that respect, it's both archaeology and cultural anthropology. So it's really well done. At any rate, this there's a find which I suspect is not completely unconnected. It is an necropolis of some 59 um, interments that date from the I believe it's the 26th dynasty, which would put it in the New Kingdom period, about probably about 2,500 years ago. But it's been labeled the biggest find in terms of the number of burials that have been found, the biggest find in Egypt of 2020. So it's a very significant archaeological discovery. Undoubtedly, now comes all of the laboratory analysis and the interpretation of the site features and artifacts and typology and diagnosis and all the kinds of fun things that go into the other phases of archaeology outside of the excavation. Archaeology is often, well, first of all, in the movies, it's sort of romance is glorified treasure hunting, but a lot of it is kind of slow, processual, in some cases mind-numbing work in the field as you're actually doing the excavating. Now, you come across something, we really got something like a really cool feature or an artifact that, that's what really makes it, worth it. Or, the combination of the lay of features and artifacts tells you a lot too, and that is significant in and of itself. But in popular culture, I love Indiana Jones as much as the next guy. He's a hero of mine too. But we often don't, see the other side of archaeology, the interpretation, the writing of reports, and the laboratory analyses that are necessary for actually bringing this society, um, this sort of snapshot of ancient society uh, into a more relatable and recognizable form. But that's all part of writing the culture narrative, based on all of these kinds of interpretations. Um, but now all of that can begin with this new find in ancient Egypt. So I'll put a link in the description. Or, yeah, I'll put a link in the description for that article. Now remember, you also have this really interesting astronomical event coming up, um, uh, which I've jokingly associated with. If you guys are children of the '80s and you've seen The Dark Crystal, then you know about Agra, and she's always talking about the Great Conjunction. It's one of the big events in that movie, that storyline. This is a different Great Conjunction. This is something real. This is something you can actually watch in the eastern sky. And actually, right now, you can sort of, because the celestial body is at play here, you can actually begin to sort of look at them. Um, Around sunset, I think, is the best time. Just before and about an hour after sunset is the best time to see this conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, which historically have heralded great changes, political, social, cultural changes. Um, and so it's an event that's similar probably to the Bethlehem star. Bethlehem star is probably a conjunction of similar make, but this particular kind of conjunction, as Jupiter and Saturn are moving into the house of Capricorn, is a rather rare event. It only happens every it's several centuries go by before one will happen. So um, kind of interesting. So December 21st, mark your calendars, winter solstice. You'll be able to view that at its zenith and probably for a number of days afterwards. Like I said, you could start looking at the eastern skies for it on the close to the horizon just before and about an hour after sunset. So that's going to be interesting. I'm toying with the idea of doing some kind of live. Um, um, I wanted to say play by play, but that's probably not the right sort of commentary. But yeah, a kind of live commentary on what's going on and giving a little bit of historical background. Or I may just record all of that. But my rough plan is to sort of do that um, outside. Um, I probably will either do it in the backyard here, or I'll drive a little bit outside of town to get a better view. But that's probably going to be filmed on my phone. But that'll be fun. Like I say, that's the tentative plan anyway. Uh, well, I think that's all for right now. Like I said, if you guys are great about sharing the links and giving me feedback, and I appreciate all the support for the channel. Um, it's steadily growing. I'd like for it to grow more and see what we can make out of this. Um, as always, if you like the content, click a like, subscribe, and do share. Tell your friends about it if you think it's something that they'll be blessed and edified by. And we'll just keep this thing rolling, and I'll be anxious to hear about what your favorite programs have been on the channel. And since Antiquity X seems to be at the top of the list, are there questions and topics that you guys would like for me to deal with? Um, all right, you guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon. Godspeed.